Hello everyone. I'm Prakash Bista and I'm a sophomore at Soka University of America. I want to share my life story today to tell you why I believe in education for peace. I want to take you to the completely different part of the world now. Let's watch a video. This is how I and most of the kids in our region of Nepal grew up in early childhood. I was born in one of the most remote villages in Nepal, in the foothills of Himalayas, elevation 6,500 feet. My day would start out climbing uphill for 30 minutes to fetch fresh water, then going into the jungle to collect firewood to bring back for cooking and heat, and then cutting grass for our buffalo in the land near our house. On top of these, I was a spoiled kid. I used to smoke cigarettes when I was 6 years old and roll rocks down the hill at people, which was a pretty stupid thing for me to do. My life took a turn when I was 8 years old. I was able to travel with my father and some neighbors to buy household items in the nearest town, a 100-mile, 4-day journey each way by foot. I was mesmerized being in a city with real streets, vehicles, and electricity. But what really captured my attention was seeing school children my own age, dressed in uniform, carrying book bags, and then being picked up by a school bus. In that moment, my life shifted because I realized that I wanted to be one of those students and told my father that I wanted to go to a school. My parents discussed for a month and finally enrolled me in a boarding school in my district, 20 miles away. Going to school changed me on many levels. I learned about morals, social values, and having a passion for learning so I could become a contributive person in the society. On top of that, my thirst for learning was stimulated. And for the next 5 years, I was the top student in my school. However, when I was in the 7th grade, the Civil War reached its peak. The school I was attending shut down when some communist insurgents threatened to bomb it down and planted a huge bomb nearby. So I returned home. When I got there, my home was already destroyed by the government forces, as the communist guerrilla had made our property their office without our consent. I'll never forget when 2 people were killed right in front of me. On top of that, I was shocked to see a lot of my childhood friends join the guerrilla army. I was also approached many times by the local guerrilla leaders to join the insurgency army. My own uncle and cousin, both high-ranking communist commanders who were later killed in the war, also tried to persuade me to join the war. However, my education made me believe that war was not the solution. I didn't believe that killing people would bring peace and make the society better. So I told my father I wanted to study further. Because of my grades, the principal of my school was able to help me get a full tuition scholarship to a high school in the capital city of Kathmandu. There, I was safe. I was among the students from all over Nepal. During my 5 years of studies, I went home only once. But the good thing was, I was able to continue my education until the 10th grade, receiving full tuition scholarship for being top in class each year. My father was so excited for me when I told him that I wanted to further my education in America after my senior high school. My joy, however, was short-lived, as my dad's spine was crushed by a falling boulder. Then my dad became paralyzed and passed away in 3 months. Around the same time, my mother was diagnosed with rheumatic heart disease, which was at the incurable stage. She took her last breath with her head on my shoulder. Having lost both of my parents in such a short time, my heart felt broken. Coupled with having missed 9 months of school already, I decided to return to my village permanently. With these heartaches, I realized that none of us knows when we will die. I felt that I had to make a difference right then. At that time, fortunately, the Civil War had just ended, and there was a new hope. I brainstormed a lot of ideas how I can contribute back to society. After a lot of self-reflection, I realized how education had changed me, created hope in me despite of war and all the difficulties I had in my life. Then I concluded that education is the way forward for development, opportunities, and peace. So at first, I taught at some public schools for a while, but I was largely dissatisfied because of political interference, complex bureaucracy and management issues, and structured corruption. I realized that the situation was out of my control. So I started thinking about alternatives. Finally, I decided to start our village's first service-oriented non-profit elementary school on the very site where our house was bombed down during Civil War. I named it Modern Model Residential School. Starting an independent school was a top decision in my life. I was young, just 19 years old, and I had no financial resources at all, except the hope that villagers will support to build the school. I started with 8 students and went door to door to talk to villagers. I told them that we needed to start a non-profit school and asked for temporary loans to build it. Because of their belief in me, they supported wholeheartedly. Villagers sold their lands, their cattle, or even borrowed money with interest to support this school. In a year, we raised $30,000. We then built 2 concrete school buildings, chartered helicopter to bring solar panels, computers, printers, television, and satellite dish for the first time in our village. Then one day, interesting thing happened. One of the students told their parents that he saw a lot of snakes on TV at school. The parents came rushing to school with sticks to kill the snakes. We had to show them how TV and computer work, and then decided to screen TV to public on Saturday. This incident helped my village leap into 21st century. After 4 years, I received funding from the US government to apply to American universities and I also received full scholarship from Soka University of America to pursue my undergraduate studies. The university's principle of peace, human rights, and sanctity of life made me feel that the university was the right place for me to pursue higher education. In my first year at Soka, I won $10,000 first prize at the Orange County Social Entrepreneurship Competition 2014, organized by Saddleback College Foundation, and also raised some funds for the school. With these funds, I was able to pay back half of the loan of our first school. This year, one of the donors of Soka University of America contacted me and donated $10,000 to start the second school in the next village. So currently we have two schools with about 400 students studying. A school management committee comprising the parents of our students runs each school. Before I highlight the importance of these schools, let me first give you the picture of our district in Nepal. Our district Kalikot is 73rd in Human Development Index out of 75 districts in Nepal. It is better than just 2 other districts in Nepal. According to Central Bureau of Statistics, District Profile 2008 data, overall literacy rate is 38.47%, per capita income is $83 a year, and life expectancy is 42 years in Kalikot district. Now let me explain to you why these schools are so important in bringing a revolution in rural areas in developing countries like Nepal. I would like to go into just a little detail. Our schools are very low cost, non-governmental and service-oriented schools. It only costs $10,000 to start a school. Our schools are not only important because of their low cost, but also because of their unique model. At our schools, parents who have jobs or secured means of income pay as little as $100 a year for their children's tuition, which includes books, uniforms, and a meal a day. Parents who don't have a means of income volunteer 30 days a year at our school building infrastructure. Finally, orphans and those who come from critical family backgrounds get all expenses paid by the school. Each school has a goat farm, a copy center, and a stationery center to supplement to cover part of annual expenses. We partner with organizations, individuals, and impact investors to build and expand this great network of education to create a social impact, changing the lives of thousands of children and their families in need of support. We envision peace, development, and opportunities through innovative nonprofit schools for the poor in rural Nepal. Now my immediate goal is to build 10 sustainable model schools in 2 years, which will admit 10,000 students annually in the long run, providing one of the highest social return in investment in the whole world. To achieve this goal, I have a very difficult task of raising $100,000 in 2 years. However, with all the wonderful people I have met in the US, I think this is not impossible. Thank you.